Morning and welcome. I'm Craig Burris, the CEO and General Manager at Vernon Electric Cooperative. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today to celebrate this project. It's been a very interesting project throughout. Before we dive into some of the details of the Bluff Prairie Solar Project, just a few housekeeping items. As we were looking at the weather coming up to today's event, it was looking like rain. Fortunately, it's not raining, but we asked the Methodist Church here in Redmond if we could utilize their facility. They so graciously allowed us to do that. Couldn't have been a better spot. We didn't have to deal with the mud, and we have shelter if needed. So if we get a downpour, we're going to move into the church. Anybody needs to use restroom facilities, the church is open. Feel free to go in and use those. Governor Evers, welcome. We're glad to have you here, Representative Oldenburg and Senator Paff. Your support of electric co-ops and of rural Wisconsin residents is always appreciated. I'd also like to thank all of the media for being here today to help us tell our story. It's been a project in the works for a number of years, and I think it's a perfect example of the things that we can accomplish when we collaborate and form partnerships on projects. We can do some great things working together. Well, it's been close to 10 years since Vernon Electric first announced it was actually the first community solar project in the state of Wisconsin. It was 250 kW AC array. Members were able to purchase panels. They purchased panels for $600 and got the output of that panel for the life of the panel. And at that time, the projected payback was 16 years. Still, there was a lot of interest in solar. We had a lot of members that were interested in renewable energy. Sometimes they didn't have the facilities to put it up themselves, so they were able to utilize the community solar aspect. And it worked out really well. But it didn't take long to find out, and in talking with our members, those that had concerns about cost. Not everybody had the ability to pay $600 and wait for a 16-year payback on that investment. So at that point, the co-op has continued to pursue renewable energy projects. We've done a number of them over the years, but haven't introduced another community solar project since that first one 10 years ago. My goal has always been to develop a project that was cost neutral. We're hearing from our members, a majority of them that a lot that struggle to pay their monthly bill, let alone be able to pay extra, the premium price that solar came at for a number of years. We also heard from some members that weren't in favor of subsidizing it. So we looked and continued to watch pricing and look with partners, and finally things started to come together. It looked like we might be able to do a project that fits our needs, providing solar for community solar project, and at the same time doing it at a price that was cost competitive. Didn't take long in looking at how to bring those costs down. What we needed to do, first of all, was use economies of scale. In order to put a project like this together, it had to be a fairly large size. And to expand on that, what we did is we worked with 9 other electric co-ops across the state of Wisconsin. So instead of going out for pricing for this 1.5 megawatt project, we went out for pricing for 12 projects at 22 megawatts. So you'll be seeing a number of other solar facilities very similar to this coming online over the next number of months. Some of those are community solar. Some of them are just solar to put back on the grid. Some of them are solar for to help co-ops with loading on particular substations. So the cool thing about the co-ops is we're able to utilize projects, develop projects that make sense for their own members. This project here, um, we of course we're looking for community solar. Members wanted to participate. So what we ended up with here was that particular project where we have community solar. 60% of this project, 2,000 of the 3,276 panels will be for community solar. We have it set so that members can purchase the output of a panel annually. So it's a $50 subscription annually. The projected output of this particular array looks like we should be able to provide bill credits of approximately $56. So doing the math, about a 10 to 12% savings for those who participate. And it was, as this was coming together, of course, the $50 per year is a lot more palatable than a large upfront cost for 20 years. So we're on the path to providing solar for most, not solar for all. Hetty approached us. Hetty from Cooley Cap approached us and had an idea. There was grant funds available to allow them to apply for the grant, which would then they would become the subscriber for income eligible members of Vernon Electric. Through a lot of conversation, we and working through the Public Service Commission, Joe is here with us, and their team, we were able to develop Energize Wisconsin. I'm not going to go into a lot of details because Hetty is the expert on that. I will let her talk to the Energize Wisconsin portion. But what it ended up doing is allowed us to split off 550 of the 2,000 panels, set that aside for solar for low to moderate income, those income eligible households to be subscribed into the program at no cost, but they will receive the benefits of the output of this solar facility. So showing cost savings, huge cost savings to those members. So in the end, we ended up with a project here that really provides solar for all. Any of our members can participate. Even the low income will receive benefits from this particular project. Again, before I turn it over to Hetty, I thank you for all being here today. I thank Cooley Cap, their employees, and their board members, Vernon Electric employees and board members. There's a lot of people that came together to make this happen. When you start looking at the partnerships that were formed in order to pull this off, it's pretty amazing. And I think we have a good story to tell here. I think it should be an example of what we can do when organizations come together with common interest and work for the best interest of the residents in rural Wisconsin. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Hetty.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Hetty Brown. I'm the Executive Director of Cooley Cap Community Action Agency. Cooley Cap is an organization that fights poverty in our area. We serve about 23,000 residents a year in Vernon, Crawford, Monroe, and La Crosse counties. I also echo what Craig said. Thank you all for your support and for being here. I know we have a lot of members from the Vernon Electric Board, the Cooley Cap Board, and a lot of state members, and you're going to hear from many of them today, especially our VIP guest, Governor Evers. So thank you for making the trip. Today marks a significant achievement in our fight against energy poverty. A little known fact is that poverty-burdened households in Vernon County and all of the surrounding counties pay about 15 to 30% of their income on energy bills. And the largest expense is for electricity. And this is not a burden that can be managed by asking a household to budget differently or save more. This has to be addressed through infrastructural changes and programs like Energize Wisconsin. Having access to solar energy is really key to addressing energy poverty, especially when it's paired with the Weatherization Assistance Program, which Cooley Cap manages with our partners at the Department of Administration. But solar hasn't been accessible to everyone, especially households with the highest energy burden. It's simply just, as Craig mentioned, it costs too much, either to buy into a community solar garden or to put solar on rooftops. Yet there is a strong interest. Cooley Cap, as part of our work, we asked the community for feedback. We held interviews and focus groups with potential customers of this solar garden, Vernon Electric members, and low-income members had a really strong interest in participating in solar programs. They wanted to join. The cost was just always a barrier in the past. Our Energy Services Director, Tom Main, where's Tom at? Is he in the background? He's always usually in the back. I have to give him a lot of credit because he came up with this idea. Well, what if we built a community solar garden that was dedicated to low-income households? That idea sparked a conversation with the Public Service Commission, Office of Energy Innovation, and Joe Pater is here. You're going to hear from him. They said, you know what? We have funding for stuff like this, and we've been looking for projects to serve low-income households. We also talked to the Department of Administration, Division of Energy, Housing, and Community Resources. Jeff Haino is here from Decker. They are our partners on weatherization, but also other solar pilots. And then we reached out to our friends at Vernon Electric Cooperative because, as Craig mentioned, they like to be first. They like to do things that are forward thinking. And Craig said, well, it just so happens that we're planning this large solar garden project. Why don't we see how this could fit in? So these conversations resulted in a three-way partnership between the state of Wisconsin, a nonprofit community action agency, and a local electric cooperative. And now we stand here today launching a significant project, which is, I believe, the first of its kind in Wisconsin. So Craig gave you a little precursor to what Energize Wisconsin is. Energize Wisconsin will provide solar benefits to households who qualify for state energy assistance and carry the highest energy burden. It will be a barrier-free program, no additional applications, and no cost to participate. Cooley Cap, using a grant from the Office of Energy Innovation, we will buy in as a proxy bulk subscriber into this larger array that you see behind me. We will then work with Vernon Electric to allocate benefits from that carve out to the bills of low-income households who have that highest energy burden. So Energize Wisconsin is about reducing energy costs, but it is also providing equitable access to solar for households who've been traditionally denied that access because of cost. And we appreciate all of our partners who have made this possible. So now I'm going to introduce Joe Pater, who's with the Public Service Commission Office of Energy Innovation, our partner and friend in this initiative.
Thank you, Heidi. And thank you again for everybody for being here. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for being here as well. It's a very exciting day for Wisconsin as we see the outcome of a multi-year long project to bring community solar benefits to this area of the state. My name is Joe Pater. I'm the director of the Office of Energy Innovation at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. At the PSC, our commissioners and staff are focused on a mission to ensure safe, reliable, affordable, and environmentally responsible utility services and equitable access to telecommunication and broadband services as well. And our Office of Energy Innovation is focused on a mission of developing Wisconsin's energy landscape to be secure, reliable, environmentally responsible, and growing the state's economy for all. And our vision is really that we have Wisconsin homes, businesses, and vehicles powered with clean, efficient, reliable energy that creates jobs, grows our economy in an equitable manner where all can share in the benefits. And every day, our OEI team performs this work with some key activities that we provide for the state. We provide technical assistance to stakeholders. For example, cities, counties, municipalities can reach out to us for support on either federal funding opportunities or review of project planning. We also provide financial assistance ourselves. Department of Energy passes through state energy program funds and other funding that we then turn around and make available to state entities and communities and nonprofits and even manufacturers. We also work to increase the visibility of Wisconsin's energy landscape and recently published a new energy statistics dashboard, which details energy pricing, consumption, and the environmental impacts of our energy sector. And finally, we support the energy security and reliability of the state by providing key analysis on issues related to reliability and the availability of energy resources. And maybe the most important thing is that we provide oversight and support for the Focus on Energy program, which hopefully everybody here is aware of. It's our statewide energy efficiency and renewable resource program. And happy to note that the Inflation Reduction Act home energy program rebates that you may be hearing about as homeowners, things like heat pumps are going to be available for a very nice incentive. That will be run through the Focus on Energy program starting in the middle of 2024. And we're working on the planning on that right now. But today we're here to celebrate a project that our team helped spark about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was new on the job, and we were looking, similar to what Hetty said, we were looking for opportunities to support LMI households. And it's challenging. You know, the opportunity to work with households in their energy efficiency is there with the weatherization program and DOA. But with regard to renewable energy resources, as Hetty mentioned, it's just quite simply cost burdensome. So we saw an opportunity to apply for some free technical assistance from the National Association of State Energy Offices. And that program was called the Inclusive Shared Solar Initiative. And when we received the award a month or two later of receiving that technical assistance, we said to ourselves, hey, why don't we try to spark some projects in the state? And at the time we were talking with Hetty and a few others, and we said, well, we've got some funding available next year. We could go to the commission with a plan where we try to stand up some community solar and pass the benefits directly to LMI customers. So we prepared a scoping memo and took it to the commission and went through the process that we go through for funding, and it was approved. And fortunately, we were able to get a nice grant that we could cut up into two pieces. And what you're standing here looking at today is one part of that grant, in partnership with Vernon Electric Co-op and Cooley Cap and DOA. There's another project coming that you'll see a few months from now with Pierce Pepin Electric Co-op and West Cap that'll have a similar design. Some of the details will be different, but same kind of impact. And the goal here was really to support these LMI customers, low-income customers who don't have any access to community solar. And these projects were pretty challenging. I'll say we met every couple of weeks with support of the NASIO team. There was many moments where we scratched our head and said, this is harder than we thought, but we worked through it. We stayed diligent, and we've got a great outcome here today. And it should be, because Governor Evers' Executive Order 38 put into motion a significant effort to push forward Wisconsin's clean energy economy. And specifically, the state's first clean energy plan, which was released in April of 2022, said the following: most community solar projects are deployed in higher income communities, and most participants are higher income households or businesses, regardless of their location. The state will aim to increase the rate of development of community solar, and particularly with projects aimed and tailored to low income communities, or communities that are disproportionately impacted by climate change and other vulnerable communities. This project and others to follow are built with that in mind. And this project will hopefully set forth a path for Wisconsin where clean energy benefits are shared by all Wisconsinites, regardless of resources. We still do have a ton of work to do, and I am encouraged by this project. We believe it is the first community solar project where there's no cost to the low-income customers in the state. It's the first project we're aware of in our research. So we should be really proud and excited of this one. But of course, there's many more projects to come. But we will be working in partnership with co-ops, electric utilities, and the community to really showcase this program and expand the benefits of clean energy to all households in Wisconsin. And those are my remarks today. I would like to introduce Wisconsin's 46th governor, an amazing governor at that, Tony Evers.
Regardless of the weather, it's always a beautiful day in the Cooley region. And it's good. It's good. It's a beautiful part of the world. Well, thanks, Joe, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate the exciting launch of the Bluff Prairie Community Solar Array and the new Energize Wisconsin program. So thank you to everyone who has traveled to be here today to celebrate this project and partnership. And thanks to our host, Vernon Electric Co-op and Cooley Cap. And just a few words about them off script. I've had the opportunity as a governor to work with a co-op several times, but in particular in the area of broadband. And they've just done an outstanding job bringing broadband to the Cooley region, and I just wanted to thank them for that. And Cooley Cap, worked with Cooley Cap several times on housing programs and affordable housing and rental issues across the state. And both of these organizations are organizations that, frankly, the Cooley region is just so fortunate to have both of those organizations working on any project, but in particular this one. So I also know that this effort was years in the making and took a collaboration of a whole ton of folks. So I want to recognize everyone, including our state agency staff from the Office of Energy Innovation, that played a part in helping getting these innovative programs to this point today. Clean energy is part of our future, and since day one, my administration has been committed to building a clean energy workforce and economy that supports 21st century needs. Our shared goals are critical to building a sustainable future for our state and are especially important for those who lack economic security or the means to fully transition to clean energy alternatives for their homes and their communities. Folks, we don't have to choose between mitigating climate change and protecting our environment and good paying jobs and economic development. We can do both, and today's celebration is a great example of that. You know, for our work, from joining the U.S. Climate Alliance and creating our task force on climate change, to announcing Wisconsin's first ever clean energy plan that was talked about before, and our new Green Ribbon Commission on Clean Energy and Environmental Innovation, we are making important progress on our vision for a clean energy future. But absolutely none of this work will happen and is happening without partners and advocates that are on the ground working on these projects, fighting for clean energy policies, and dreaming up on how we can be the most innovative with our clean energy solutions. But that's where the rubber hits the road, where partners like Vernon Electric and Cooley Cap and all the folks here today come in. The co-op has been a leader in community solar for years, and I'm thrilled to see this new project and know how much thought was given to it and how best to utilize this and to serve the members of the community. Furthermore, I am glad that we could be a partner with helping Cooley Cap launch Energize Wisconsin. Thank you for doing that, with a $250,000 grant through the Office of Energy Innovation at the Public Service Commission. Cooley Cap's innovative program will help ensure that this community solar array is truly serving the community, helping to break down cost barriers that can stand in the way of folks engaging with these exciting local clean energy alternatives. Programs and partners like this are the future, and supporting their success is key to supporting our success as a state. So once again, congratulations on the completion of the solar array and the launch of Energize Wisconsin. I look forward to seeing how these programs will continue to grow and develop in the years to come, helping us get us that much closer to a stronger clean energy future that we're all working on. So thanks, everybody, and I'm turning it back to Craig, I believe, right?
Thank you, Governor. As you've heard, it certainly has been a great partnership, a lot of work in order to pull this project off. But we're really excited about the success. when we started it. It looked kind of like a pipe dream. As we see this coming together, it's certainly been a wonderful project and a wonderful partnership. So, I'd like to see if, Representative Oldenburg, would you like to give a few words? Certainly appreciate having you here today to celebrate this occasion.
Thank you, Craig. And I want to congratulate Heidi and the Cooley Cap and the board of directors and Vernon Electric and their board of directors for forward thinking. Because the board, I understand, as a co-op member, it takes a board and a lot of people behind you, the leadership, to support this. As a member of the Energy and Utility Committee for the last 5 years, we talk a lot about community solar. But one thing I like about this end, this is the way it should be done on a smaller scale. As I drive to Madison, I see these big solar farms taking away farmland. I don't see that great a farmland sitting over there. So I think Craig will have to diversify his farming operation and get some sheep. But I want to congratulate Vernon Electric, Cooley Cap, state of Wisconsin for supporting an idea like this, and hopefully it takes hold and we can expand it throughout the state. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oldenburg. It's funny you bring up about the sheep. Just a quick story. Our first community solar array at our headquarters in Westby. Vernon Electric has another first in the state. We were the first to utilize sheep to graze the solar facilities. Actually, my kids showed sheep at the Vernon County Fair, brought a few of them back home, and we were struggling to keep the weeds down from growing up between the panels. We had people mowing, but unlike this facility where the panels tip, those were fixed. So you had to try and get underneath and cut the weeds, and the weeds were just taking over. So I brought up the idea of, I wonder if we could just put the sheep in here. Some said, no, you don't want to do that. They'll eat them. And I don't think so. They're not goats. So well, what happens if something happens to them? They'll be fine. And we put the sheep in there. And as you see in a number of farm magazines, the land being utilized for other things other than just growing up in weeds or trying to mow it down. It can be used for grazing purposes. This particular project will be seeded with wildflowers and prairie grasses. So it'll serve a multi-function, allowing pollinators to utilize it. So overall, we'll have a couple different projects that we can kind of test out. We'll see which ones work the best, utilizing the sheep at our facility in Westby and pollinator habitat here. So look for more insight on how that works and as we move into the future. Senator Paff, very happy to have you here today. Would you like to give a few words?
Real brief. Thank you, Craig. Thank you very much. Well, I don't have anything profound to say here. You've heard from the experts. I will say this, is that I believe in the cooperative movement, and I want to thank all of the Vernon Electric Cooperative board members and leadership for being here. I also believe strongly in the efforts of Hetty and her team with Cooley Cap. And I do believe the best ideas come from the ground up. And you see right here is you see local innovation and creativity. And you see where the community comes together in order to serve the needs of the people here in the Driftless region, in the Cooley region, in Vernon County. And I think that is very, very important. And I think there's a lot of lessons that we all can learn from that. And that is the fact we need to continue to keep members of our community fully engaged. We need to respect one another. We need to recognize the fact that good ideas come from a variety of different places. And we need to be able to listen to one another, respect different ideas, be able to facilitate a kind of conversation so it can lead to projects like this. So on behalf of the people of the 32nd State Senate District, I want to say thank you for providing a role model, for providing the kind of leadership, the kind of work that is needed more and more in this, well, I will say it's way too divided right now, especially politically, but all over. And the more that we can come together and demonstrate good leadership and responsibility and recognize one another and realize that good ideas come from a variety of different places and from different people, I think we're all going to be better off. So with that, congratulations. It's an honor to be here today, and thank you, Governor, for coming to Red Mound. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator. Well, besides the partnerships that you've seen here that we've talked about, we can't forget about the local residents and those that help participate in this project. Daryl Palmer, there's the landowner that agreed to lease this land. There's a number of landowners between here and our Red Mound substation that our line crew was able to work with to revamp and upgrade the distribution facilities to be able to accept the energy coming from this particular solar facility. The residents of Red Mound, I think as you look around, there's just a lot of good things happening, a lot of partnerships, a lot of people excited to see what we could do here. And it was certainly turning into be a very big success story. Part of that success was built on our partners at One Energy. When we were working with looking at developers, we needed some experts in the field that knew about solar design, that could help us choose a site. One Energy is responsible for the design, the financing, the installation, the maintenance. They're a critical partner in this project. So with that, Beth Esser from One Energy, would you like to give a few words and maybe give us a little insight as to what's happening behind us here?
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. If Craig had told me that I was going to be speaking after the governor, I think I probably would have stayed back in Madison today. This is a first for me, so it's wonderful. As Craig said, I'm Beth Esser. I'm with One Energy Renewables, and I'm here with my colleague, Sarah Peterson. We are really honored to be able to work with Vernon Electric Cooperative and many other Dairyland Power Cooperative members on projects. As Craig had mentioned, this is a portfolio of projects we put together this year and have constructed 10 of those projects this summer. And, it is not possible to do these projects without many, many partnerships. So I want to just take a little time to thank all of the folks that we've encountered along the way. As Craig mentioned, first and foremost, our landowner, Daryl Palmer. Farmers across the state are positioned to really help us transition to a clean energy economy. And it takes farmers willing to work with us to do that. So appreciate Daryl Palmer. He's not able to be here today. He's attending to some family matters, but really thank him for working with us. Of course, we want to thank the cooperative, Craig and his team and the board of directors. Without their innovative thinking, we also would not be here today. So, their perseverance and patience in developing this project really is a testament to their commitment to their mission of providing reliable and innovative energy solutions and just their commitment to the community at large. Another partner, we partnered with Knobelsdorf Electric to build this project along with the 9 other projects that we built this summer. And they, are the boots on the ground building this project in the heat, which we had quite a bit of this summer, and really appreciate all of their work in building a high quality project. And finally, I'd like to thank the town of Wheatland and the town clerk, Cindy Eisenman. I don't know if Cindy's here today, but she answered a lot of questions along the way. As a solar development company working across the state, every community is different. And so we want to connect with the community and find out what is the pathway to getting a project like this built. Whether it's questions about how you get a driveway permit or what. Cindy was very responsive and helped me along the way with all of that. So thank you. When my boss said, okay, Craig wants to do a project and it's by the Red Mound substation, would you go out and find some land? And I looked at the topography, and generally we like to have solar projects on flat land. And I said, sure. So again, it goes back to finding Daryl, our landowner who wanted to partner with us, and our engineering team who I came back to the office and I said, here it is. Here's where you're going to put it. There's some topography and there's some bedrock. Let's make it happen. And we did. So it's very exciting, and it's just an honor to be here to see this project come to fruition, and just really the cool, unique, innovative things of what Vernon has done in partnering with Cooley Cap. Just a thrill to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Beth. I think that takes us up to question and answer session. Anybody has any questions for the team that has put this together? Feel free to bring those up. If not, we will be available after the ceremony here. We will also plan on heading over to the solar facility. If anybody wants to tag along, we'll go over and get kind of an up close look. Couple different options. Walk down along the edge of the road and over, or there is some limited parking over there. We can drive over. We'll plan on going over there for those that would be interested in getting an up close look at these bifacial panels. Again, it's amazing where technology has gone in the last 10 years. Technology and innovation has really brought us a long ways. As we talk here about bifacial panels, not only does the sun collect on the front of the panel, but it also reflects onto the backside of the panel, generating electricity. The other interesting thing about this particular project is it's on a single axis tracker. So the panels follow the sun from east to west throughout the day to maximize the output. We often hear about concerns about taking up farmland for solar. Well, this particular project maximizes the amount of energy output with today's technology anyway, to be able to generate as much electricity as possible with utilizing as little land as possible. So a lot of interesting things that we have happening here. Feel free to catch any of us for questions afterwards, and a little while we'll make our way over to the solar facility. So thank you everybody for being here today and celebrating this with us. We will be taking some photos and doing the ribbon cutting though before we head over. So